Hello students, good morning all of you. Today we are taking up 15th chapter Structures and Unions. As you know that the necessity of mother of invention, this principle is equally applicable not only in real life but also in programming. That means wherever necessity comes and all that, we invent or discover new things. As you know that we write programs for the purpose of creating data, storing data, accessing data, manipulating data, displaying data. For all these purposes, mainly data should be manipulated. So, we should create data. For creating data, we want a container. We cannot store data in the air. So, a memory container is required. That initially we used variables. We used variables of primary types. Primary type variables we have used, those are int, float, char, etc. And so far, in all the hundreds of programs we performed, in all of them, we created variables. In each variable, we can store a particular type of value. In integer type variable, we can store integer type value, whereas in the floating point type variable, we can store float type variable. We are very comfortable with this. We are able to store and simply using its name, like A is temperature, we are able to retrieve data, we manipulate and again store. But here one limitation is there. What is the limitation? As far as storing one value, a particular type, there is no limitation at all. If you want to store fewer values, suppose 3 ages, age 1, age 2, age 3 also, may not be a problem. But in real-time environment, we have to store large number of data, ages of 100 people, temperatures of 1 year, 365 days, like that. Then, in such case, these very ordinary variables are not suitable. Then, a necessity is created. Out of the necessity, we invented a new thing, that is array or string. That is set of elements, set of values. We can store in a block of memory, and it is arrayed a data structure. In that, we are able to store values and we are able to access them randomly. Whatever variable you want, whatever element you want, you can directly access by using index. A simple way, little extension of ordinary variable. This is also very comfortable. Very comfortable. But here is also one limitation, one necessity. What is that? In an integer array, we can store only integer type values. In a floating point type array, we can store only floating point type values. What about multiple heterogeneous assorted types of values? Actually, in real type environment, many times in one container, we have to store different types of items. Suppose you carry a bag to the market. You may purchase provisions, you may purchase cosmetics, vegetables, or stationery. Anything you must be in a position to put in the container and carry that. Such type of container is required. Container is required. That is what we call user defined. As you like. Here one thing you understand. Computer should not create any limitation on our use. Computers are created for human beings. Human beings are not created for computers. That point you must understand that. So here the limitation or necessity is, we must be in a position to store whatever data item we want in the container. So that type of container is called user defined container, and C developers thought in that direction. And in order to overcome the limitations of array and strings and all, they developed a user defined data type, that is structure. It is represented by the keyword struct. It is user defined data type. So as you like, don't think of container. What are the limitations of the container? Whatever data items you want to put in this container, just simply store, access, retrieve, manipulate, and all that. That type of data type is was provided by the C developer. That is a structure. This is user defined. Already two more user defined types I explained in the third chapter itself. That is enumeration, enum. Enum can store a set of constants. You can create your own data type, but it can store only integer type constants. That is, however, this is user defined. You give your own name like week, and you can store weekdays. So this is also user defined. We have written some programs also. You know it very well. This is one of the user defined data type. Other one, second one, I introduced other one, type def. Type def, you can create aliases for the data type, existing data type. It may be a primitive type or a derived type or user defined type also. You can create an alias. Already, so I introduced two user defined data type. One is enum, enumeration. Second one is type def. Now the third and fourth I am introducing in this chapter. Those are structures and unions. Structure and union is some variant of structure, almost structure only, some different features are there. So, in this chapter, mainly we focus on how to create structures and structure type variables, how to store data, retrieve data, manipulate data, all that and allied concepts we learn in this chapter. So, if you have perfect knowledge over this, then you never think of the limitations of the data type. Whatever data you want to store, irrespective of its type, you can store in the container. A wonderful data structure. And one more thing, it is a bridge-like content. A bridge-like content between POP and WOOP. After mastering WOOP, so POP, function-oriented programming, we enter into WOOP. This data structure is a bridge-like. Now, C provides struct. Once you enter into C++ or Java, there you can find object. There you can find class. A class is advanced structure. You can understand a class is an advanced structure. So, if you understand structure now, then whenever you enter into WOOP, you can understand what are the advanced features of the class. So, the structure is such a wonderful data structure. You can simply manipulate, use and manipulate data items.